I have broken. I have broken it. Sorry, everyone. I have broken Restream.
Okay, now we're good. I'm sorry. Can you do the intro again?
Okay,
That was my
here we go.
mistake, dude. I'm so sorry. For some reason,
That's
it
okay.
disconnected my mixer.
Okay, and you know what, everybody out there, I'm going to put this. You do not remember the last 2 minutes. It's okay. We're going to go back.
What
We're going to go
happened?
back in time.
Who are you?
Back in time. Back in time. On this week's episode, is the streaming world doomed with Doom Patrol? Get ready to a new get ready for a new side to Star Wars. And is it time to catch the plane ride from hell? All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything at all that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, or anyone else out there that's associated with our social media, Retro City Games, which is currently doing a big sale right now. In fact, they're doing a lot of great things there, including up to a 70% trade-in credit right now. 70% trade-in credit on all the stuff that they take in till the end of the month. That great sale is going on now till the end of the month. So go ahead and check out Retro City Games if you're in the Las Vegas and Henderson area. It is sincerely appreciated. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He is our own Doom Patrol of Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to check out what he's doing today. You got to check out what he's doing today at popculturecosmos.com. Of course, all the great stuff he does for Humanica Media, including Topicocalypse and the Super BS Gamescast. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. What's up, man?
What is up? So, story for you. You know, I've been telling you that I'm going through these old sports cars that I got
Hold
sitting
on,
in my.
man. Hold on. You're all garbly.
How about
You still
now?
there? Still there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
You're all garbly.
Oh no. Okay, hold on. Connected. It shows. I mean, it shows I'm coming in good on my side. I wonder what's going on. Can you hear me?
No.
Okay. Let me switch.
Should host it.
Hold on. Let me switch something real quick.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna double check what we got going on.
All right. Start it again from scratch. Ready?
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just double check that everything's good now.
Third time's a charm. Start it again from scratch. Ready?
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just double check that All right, we're good, man. Sorry. Okay.
All right. No.
Take it away.
You just like to hear my intro so much. You want to hear it for a third time.
I
That's
do.
okay.
Please.
There you go. On this week's episode, is the streaming world doomed with Doom Patrol? Get ready for a new side to Star Wars. And it's time to catch the plane ride from hell. All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, and of course, Pop Culture Cosmos, not only everywhere you can find us on social media, but also our good friends at Retro City Games. And if you're in the Henderson or Las Vegas area, I've got great news for you. Head on over to Retro City Games. They've got a lot of great deals. They got great supply on all the video games that are out there used, and you can go ahead and check out stuff from previous generations, plus the current ones as well. Not only that, if you want to go ahead and trade in your stuff, they're giving a 70% credit on that. 70% credit. That's one of the highest things that they've ever done, the highest amounts that they've ever done. 70% credit. Go ahead, check it out. Retro City Games on Las Vegas Boulevard, and also their great store in Henderson. Go ahead, trade in up to 70% credit. They're doing right now until the end of the month at Retro City Games. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He's our own Doom Patrol of Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at popculturecosmos.com. Of course, all the things he does for Humanic Media, including Topic Apocalypse and the Super BS Gamescast. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. For the third time now. What's up, man?
Oh, for the third time, man, I am doing pretty good.
I heard you checked out Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I took my girls this weekend to it. It is number one at the box office for the third weekend in a row, closing in on the domestic leader. It may be by the end of next week, the number one movie of the year in the United States, and over 320 million worldwide. It's kicking butt out there, my friend. But I ask you, my friend, you had a chance to see it this weekend. Did it kick butt for you?
It did. I'm going to be very controversial here, and I'm going to say,
gee, that's not a stretch.
It's my top 2 Marvel film.
You know what? My oldest daughter, my super Marvel fan, I told her to take some time because she came out of there saying it was the best that she's ever seen. And I was like, take your time, let it breathe, take your time. But she's really happy with it as well. And my other daughter, my youngest daughter, she's okay Marvel fan. She likes What If, but not everything that Marvel dishes out. She really liked it as well.
Yeah, me and my oldest daughter went to go see it in IMAX, and she was pretty blown away by it too. Like she really enjoyed it. We have so we've been trying to watch all the Marvel films. We just finished Black Panther last week, so now we got to do Infinity War and so on and so forth. But luckily there weren't many spoilers in this as to what happened in those films. But
no, I mean, just if you look at, let's say, the signage as he's going into his apartment, do you really get a clue of what's going on?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so like I really enjoyed it. Like I don't know, it had I don't know if this is okay to say, but it had like this neat like Rush Hour vibe to it, where like he would get in these brawls and like they were serious, but they're almost like kind of funny to watch at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, what I said before in the past, I thought there was in that first half there was a little bit of Enter the Dragon meets Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But I also want to add a lot of influence from Jackie Chan. And I think that's what you're talking about right there, especially the skyscraper scene. But to me, I mean, that first half is really, really, really good. To me, the second half may not be as strong in my opinion, as what you think it is. But still, it is really, really good in that first half.
Yeah, and I love that they don't waste a lot of time with exposition. You know, they don't waste time. That doesn't mean there is no exposition. They take the exposition and they sprinkle it.
I think they could use a little tiny bit more in the beginning.
Well, they sprinkle it throughout the rest of the film. So you don't technically find out like what happens to the mom and how the dad went crazy until about 45 hour and a half in, maybe like somewhere in the middle of the film, in the climax, you start to like really understand like why these characters are the way they are. I did really love the connections to the MCU. They were there, but they didn't rely on them. You know, like the whole thing with like Wong and Abomination. That was not what I thought it was going to be. I thought that they were just hanging out, but it turns out Wong is training Abomination, and that makes me wonder, what are they being trained for? Are they going to be using Abomination in what's your name, the Seinfeld ladies Avenger group,
Oh, the Dark Adventures,
or
the Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts? I
That's
think.
been
Yeah.
Val. You're talking about, aka Madam Hydra in the
Mm-hmm.
comic books.
Yeah, so I mean, is that what's going to happen, or is there something bigger at play? Is something going to happen? A Banner and Abomination will take over as like the new Hulk. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But really
He
enjoyed
is he
that.
is going to be, by the way, in the She-Hulk series.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I've been reading. Yeah, I really like the dynamic of Aquafina. Like I was not, I've always been annoyed by her, but like in this movie, I started to like really settle into her her role.
I wish I could have gotten the same thing because I really like Aquafina before as as an actress before and a lot of great stuff. In fact, my number one movie or close to it, number one or number two, I think of 2019 was The Farewell, and I thought she gave a tremendous performance, and I said it on the show at that time.
Hmm.
I thought she wasn't given anything really to do outside of the air at
Well,
the ending. I
yeah.
really just I thought she should have been given a lot more. I don't know. Maybe I got just that feeling. I just think that she's so talented. I think that she should have been given much more to do, and
Y-
she wasn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, she was, and you could tell they're trying to like figure out what to do with her, as the way they referred to like not you, but both of you in like in the that post credit scene.
Yeah.
Like you both have a big road ahead of you, so they're obviously trying to make a place for her.
Hmm.
And who knows, maybe her role will expand. But yeah, I mean, I get what you said, and I think that the having her shoot the dragon in the throat thing was like, sorry, spoilers for anyone listening, um, was a like I guess sort of a cheap way to like make her character significant when there was probably a lot more she could have done. But maybe this movie's just her like figuring out her place in all this, and now she's gonna start becoming more and more like cool, like, not cool, but
Yeah, and
like
she's gonna pop up all over the place and
y-
become more relevant that
right,
way. So,
right, exactly, yeah.
hey, one thing I want to ask you is what really made this movie special. Again, the great first half, the martial arts, tributes, and martial arts styles, tremendous, especially in
Hmm.
that first half. The second half for me was a little bit too CG, but the tremendous performances of Simu Liu as Shang-Chi and Tony Leung as, well, he's not the Mandarin, but he is the bad guy in this
Is he
film.
a bad guy though?
Yeah, I mean,
He's a
well,
tragic
I mean,
character, I
1,000 years
guess.
of villainy, and yeah, I mean, at the end they want to humanize him, and of course they did a good job in that. I'm going to say these two really drove this film. They really drove this film, and if
Hmm.
people have a positive reaction, it's because of those two. I really think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like I think the dad was definitely like, I don't think his ending was good, but I think everything that led up to that point was, you really felt for this character. He is, and everyone always argues that Thanos was a tragic villain, but I think this guy was a true example of what a tragic villain can be, right? Like he
Mhm.
was seduced by that voice on the other side of the wall, where the creatures were being kept. What's kind of cool to me is now they've opened up not only their multiverse, but they've opened up the dimensions, right? The
Talal.
Tulao, and then oh shoot, the I forget the name of the city where Iron Fist comes from, but they even reference like, hey, you have the power of the heart of our dragon
Yeah.
in you, and like that's where Iron Fist's power come from too. So if you read the Iron Fist and Shang-Chi comics, like they have all these you see all these worlds, like even in the last run of Iron Fist, Okoye from Black Panther,
Mhm.
she got the power of one of the seven dragons, and she was doing some cool things with it. So it's just cool that now we have this multiverse and these dimensions. It's cool that all this stuff has opened up. So I'm wondering if we're gonna see like an eventual I don't know, crossover of all these big ideas that are starting to be opened.
Maybe in some Secret Wars, perhaps. Ooh, hoo,
Yeah,
hoo.
maybe. I
Maybe.
mean, we have that in credit scene, right, where Wong is they're breaking down the rings, and you see the rings are calling out to somebody. I just wish they would have told us where those rings came from. And I'm
Maybe that.
sure.
Well, I'm sure because of the fact that there's a beacon at the very end that's calling out that when it was activated by Shang Chi and it was transferred over from his father to him, the 10 rings, and that beacon was set off. I think
Mhm.
that you're going to find out maybe the origins. Maybe it leads into the Eternals. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. Also, I don't know if you saw the Eternals preview they showed during that movie, and it looked like they were sporting straight up Galactus in that movie. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you guys answer to? And it showed the being with like the
Three eyes,
Galactus
three
style
sets of, yeah.
spikes coming out of its head. So I'm curious, man.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what things are going on here. Allegedly, the Eternals is going to like change the whole fabric of the Marvel universe, so that'll be interesting.
That will be interesting to see. I mean, that one I'm still been on the fence on. I'm not 100% into it like I was Shang-Chi. You are the exact opposite. You were with me, and then you were kind of maybe on the fence with Shang-Chi, and you were really looking, you were really interested in the Eternals. So I'm still kind of on the fence on the Eternals. I'm hoping this will click and really get going because I still, I understand it's their deal that they weren't supposed to interfere with human affairs, but come on, the galaxy, snapped away and half right there on a snap, so half the galaxy gone. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
come on,
I
come on.
got you. I know, man. Oh, on a side.
It is a bit of a stretch, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, I don't. Yeah, it is. It is. I suppose. I don't know. Like it was. It's. I'm sure all will be explained as it always is, and whether it's a big chunk of dialogue or an entire movie, as Marvel seems to do. Tying those loose ends together. Side story though, when we were we were watching the movie and they showed a trailer for James Bond, the new James Bond movie, and my daughter goes, who's James Bond? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what a great question. How do you describe who James Bond is to a 7-year-old?
That's a good question. Just basically super spy. It's been a franchise that's been around since the 1960s, early 1960s. That's the
Yeah,
best you can say. You really
that's
don't want to know, or it's really tough to explain to a 7-year-old what he really does in
yeah,
these movies
right.
because then it goes into beyond what
Yeah,
7-year-olds should be able
exactly.
to.
So basically, I just looked at her. I'm like, well, he's like a super powered police officer, and she goes,
There you go.
oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably the best way to say it. But I'm glad that you enjoyed thoroughly Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Hmm.
If you want to find out where I have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, as of now, I'm still thinking about it. I've seen this for a second time. I may tweak it, but right now I have it right there for you on my popculturecosmos.com article. If you just type in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the search bar, it comes up. It is the Gerald Glassford Pop Culture Cosmos Guide to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it has my entire 1 to 25 listing of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which one thinks best, which one thinks worst. It's in there. It's in the running. I'll tell you what, I enjoyed my time with it, and I know Josh did as well. So Josh has some really high praise for it. Share us your thoughts out there. It's number 1 3 weeks in a row. Please let us know your thoughts on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We'd love to hear it. Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com or Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, at Pop Culture Cosmos on Twitter. Anywhere you find us on social media, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Can I
But
just ask one more question? This is full
sure.
spoiler territory.
Yep.
What
And then we'll
happened?
go to the break after that. What's up?
Okay, what happened in the final end credit scene? I was about to pee myself, so I had to get up and go after that first one. What happened in the last final credit scene?
Well, you remember Shang-Chi mentioned that in passing that his sister was supposedly just cleaning up the final effects of what it was left over from the Ten Rings and just basically disbanding it. He thought, in his opinion,
Yeah.
was what was going on. Well, she was cleaning up in the end credit scene, but then she gets a word from Mister Blade Arm. The guy, the big guy with the
Mm-hmm.
a detachable blade in his arm, and he says, "Okay, it's time." And then she goes out there, and then you see that not only is she not disbanding the Ten Rings, she's improving upon it with not only males but females now, as far as the warriors are concerned.
Oh, okay.
So the last words you see on the screen are the Ten Rings will continue.
Oh, got it. Okay. I'm sure that there's probably a bigger thing in mind ahead for them.
Absolutely, absolutely indeed. But it's very intriguing to see what's going to happen in the world of Shang-Chi. I'm sure that there's going to be, sequels. Obviously, Simu Liu will be all over the place in the MCU and become a major force And because the movie's been such a hit, I see nothing but success going forward for The Legend of the Ten Rings. But my friend, there's still much more to talk about on today's program. This is the latest intro I've ever had for the show, but I wanted to give everybody a heads up what we got on tap for the rest of the program, including Doom Patrol Season 3. We've also got coming up for you out there. Just wanted to let you know we've got Star Wars Visions. That comes out this week. We'll talk about that. Diablo 2 Resurrected. That's going to be revived this week to video game outlets. Lord of the Rings has a new mobile game on the way. What does it really do for us? I will go ahead and tell you what it does for us later in the program. Plus, also as well, I have a rant coming up based off the news that was made this week on various Hollywood outlets in regards to not one but two upcoming video games. And the video game movie, which we've said on here many, many times, should take precedent above any other. We'll explain that coming up later in the show as well. Plus, also, we got John Orlando back from the PVD cast, one of our big experts on the world of professional wrestling. He and I both caught Vice's return for the rest of season 3. In this episode is probably one of the most controversial. It's the plane ride from hell, about the 2002 plane ride back from Europe for the crew of the WWE at that time. A lot of things went on, a lot of nefarious things, a lot of unfortunate things, and we'll talk about that episode and some of the fallout, which has been some pretty big fallout on the show as well. But first, my friend, it is Doom Patrol Season 3. It's coming out this week to HBO Max. I know we always try to put it in a triangle between Umbrella Academy, The Boys, and Doom Patrol. Which show is better? Because each has its own set of fans, plus also fans that cross over to all three. I think I'm leaning towards the latter. I think of the three, if you were telling me I could only watch one, I would probably say by a hair it would be The Boys. But I've seen all three. I've enjoyed my time with all three. This is, how should I say, the quirkiest of all these three shows. I mean, they all have their nuances. They all have their quirks. They all are out there. But I think of the three, I think this is the one that's more comedic and even more out there than any of the others.
Yeah, it's I do enjoy. I don't know. It's weird. So I'll watch Umbrella Academy, but I don't enjoy Umbrella Academy, if that makes sense. Like I like that I'm watching it and the story's good, but the characters just get like they become so predictable. And then with Umbrella Academy, though, everything's so weird and quirky that you can never really predict.
I think you mentioned Umbrella Academy twice.
Sorry, Doom Patrol. With Doom Patrol, the characters are so weird and quirky that you can't really predict what their trajectory is going to be or what they're going to say. And Doom Patrol is a show that always keeps me on my toes. The Boys is just, I don't know, it's enjoyable, but it in small doses to me. Like I will watch the season, but I will not it takes me a long time to get through a season of The Boys. So I mean, of the three, I do enjoy Doom Patrol the most.
Wow. There you go. All right. See, I'm leaning a little bit towards The Boys. You're leaning a little bit towards the Doom Patrol. But it's like you're having three different foods that you all enjoy. And you're like at the buffet, and you go and grab all three. And, okay, which one do I eat first? I know I'm going to enjoy all three. Which one do I eat first? So I would probably eat first as far as The Boys as a meal. And you would probably eat first Doom Patrol as a meal. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that was probably a pretty bad metaphor, so I don't know if it'll stay on the air, but we'll go from there. But yeah, I mean, as far as the show upcoming, it sounds like they're going to be going. You know, if you watch the trailer, they're already going to be going back in time and going, manipulating things because time variances and multiverses and things of that nature seem to be the new thing for all these superhero shows. Again, it is the most quirky show, I think, of the three. It has garnered a lot of praise before in the past. Where do you want to see this show go? I mean, really, because it seemingly has no bounds.
Yeah, and that's what makes kind of I guess guessing where it's going to go so difficult because it's so unpredictable and it is without bounds. What I would like to see is I would like to see Brendan Fraser in the DCEU. Like I would like to see his character do something I don't know, on the big screen. Like I want to see his return to the big screen, and his Doom Patrol character is I don't know, kind of the to me the more the star of the show.
Yeah. And I don't think it started out that way, but it certainly seemingly is like that now. I think it's led to a revival of Brendan Fraser's
Oh,
career after a lot of
absolutely.
issues during the past decade. So I think that
Yeah.
now he's on track. He's getting a lot better roles
He's
once
he
again, and I
mhm.
look forward to seeing him more. But yeah, this I think his role in Doom Patrol has really helped him to get become relevant once again.
He's like Keanu Reeves. Like all of a sudden, he's like the internet's really rallying behind anything he does now because, um, he was kind of blacklisted from Hollywood for a while, and now everyone's kind of like on
Through
his
no fault of his
through
own.
no fault of his own.
If
Exactly, if you
if
know
you
the
unfollow
story.
his story,
hmm
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think that if Brendan Fraser, honestly, and like this might sound biased, but I think if Brendan Fraser wasn't in that show, I don't know if a third season would have happened.
that's a good point. That's a good point. But I'll tell you what, I'm excited for Doom Patrol season 3. Again, it is still one of the best shows that's out there. I hope people get a chance to check it out. It is something that I think a lot of people, especially if you're an HBO Max subscriber, and if you are, or if you're looking to get into it right now, HBO Max for the next 6 months, I think is half off because they're leaving Amazon and all the Amazon channels. So they're expected to lose, I think, about five to
Oh,
six million
geez, why?
subscribers.
Why is that?
I think, well, when it's about money, it's about money. When they don't say it's about money, it's about money.
Well,
So
Amazon's basically sending people to them though. Like you're still paying the full price
yeah,
even when you
I
subscribe
just
through Amazon. That's weird.
it is weird, but again, I think it's about who gets what amount of cut. They could not come to agreement.
Yeah.
I'm sure, in the end, it's always about money. So I will
Jeez.
say that right now, if you are looking to get a good deal on a streaming service, HBO Max for the next 6 months is half off to try and get you in there, to try and lure you back into HBO Max. So now is a great time to get it because not only will you get Doom Patrol season 3, you're going to get Dune, you're going to get the Matrix Resurrections, you're going to get all this great stuff. Cry Macho, if you're interested in Clint Eastwood. Unfortunately, that bombed at the theaters, but I think it might have done well on HBO Max. You never know. I mean, that's just came out as well. So a lot of great things right now on HBO Max. So please, if you're interested at all in HBO Max, right now is the best time to get it because again, it's gone half off for the next 6 months. So something to look at there. But what are your thoughts out there on Doom Patrol season 3? Please share us your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, before you hit the break, my friend, Star Wars Visions and another streaming service, because that's all we seem to talk about these days, are streaming services. Disney Plus is going to debut a new side of the Star Wars empire, for lack of a better word, and obviously the pun intended there. It's Star Wars Visions. This is something that really intrigues me, my friend. I'm not a huge anime follower or anime fan, as I've told you before. If you start off your life in anime and the first thing you see is Akira, everything from it is like almost a step down.
I've been debating buying that 4K Blu-ray for a while, but
I mean, it's just so hard for
yeah.
me over the years. Now that my youngest daughter is into it with Demon Slayer, I'm getting more and more into anime once again. I really think that got me back into anime. But let's get into Star Wars Visions. I mean, 9 different directors going through the whole series. It's 9 episodes. I think they're all dropping on the same day, September 22nd. So you'll be able to see them all right there for you. What are your thoughts on this, man? Because I am really intrigued. If you see the trailer, you get to see the different styles. I am really intrigued by what Star Wars has to offer with Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, I'm curious too because I know it's tales from all over the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, from what I've seen, the animation looks cool. The only thing that gets me down about things like this, and this is what we saw with like Animatrix and the Batman Gotham, whatever it was. You remember when that came out before Batman Begins?
Yes.
It was like all these different anime directors' take on that universe. They all kind of like told the same stories though, and the Animatrix was just so dark. So like I'm just hoping that this anthology, I guess you can call it, would be like I don't know, something would spark that love of Star Wars that, I had as a kid that would like since these are kind of standalone stories, like I could sit there and watch this and I could just feel that thing in your chest, when you're like being taken to to a galaxy far, far away. You just sense the wonder and amazement of this universe. I want to feel that again, and I'm hoping that this will do that for me.
I'm hoping that'll do it for myself as well. I'm really excited to see where this takes us, and I'm excited to see fresh, new looks at a storied franchise. It's always great to see when we get to witness a new perspective on this universe.
Yeah.
And with The Mandalorian, we saw it, and look how successful it's done and what it's branched off as. And we're going to be seeing a ton of Star Wars streaming stuff coming on the way. But I'm very intrigued to see how the anime world, the anime companies out there, the anime stars that are out there, how they view and appreciate the Star Wars universe and trying to bring their own excellence to it. And
Hmm.
I'm excited, man. I'm really excited because it just shows to me that there are different ways you can approach a standard IP like this. In fact, I would love to, we're seeing with What If, an animated version of What If, and there's, an animated version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we have seen numerous animated stuff for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but never quite like that.
Yeah.
It's been hit or miss. This most recent episode, I actually kind of liked the one with Killmonger saving Tony Stark, and I like this perspective of it. But let's say Marvel did an anime, as far as it's concerned, anime series, anthology like that. Wouldn't that be kind of cool as well?
It would be cool. I know they did something with Wolverine and the X-Men. Remember there's an anime based on that. They had one for Wolverine, one for Blade, one for the X-Men. And that
Oh, that's
was
cool. Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty neat. Like I enjoyed that. I mean, if it would have been nice if they tackled some stories that hadn't been done already, but I was pretty intrigued by that. Like I wouldn't mind seeing something for like Spider-Man and um whatever else is out there that they feel would be tell a good story and be connected well enough.
Well, I'm very intrigued to see what Star Wars Visions is going to be like when it comes out this week, September 22nd. If you're a Disney Plus owner, Disney Plus subscriber, you're really going to be in, I think, for a treat. I really think you should sit down and give it a chance. I know Star Wars The Bad Batch, that some people were really into it, some people weren't. For me, it was kind of like it's there. I'll get to finish it when I can. But I really think this is going to hold my attention. And again, I think all these episodes, and they're shorts, they're not exactly long features or anything like that. These will drop on September 22nd. I'm really looking forward to it and seeing what happens with Star Wars Visions. What are your thoughts out there on Star Wars Visions? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, before we hit the break, my friend, did you get a chance to check out the Hawkeye trailer as of yet? I didn't get a chance
I
to hit you up on
did.
that.
Yeah, I did. It had a very like Die Hard feel to it. Everything's
Yes.
happening around Christmas, all the action, he's getting punched and
And
captured,
I
there's
didn't mention Home
explosions.
Alone. Home Alone, I think, had a little bit of that.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, hey, why not? Like I haven't seen Loki yet, haven't watched What If, but Hawkeye is one of those things where like sure, maybe I'll jump into it. I'm intrigued enough by the trailer to kind of see what's what.
Absolutely. Seems seemingly everyone wants to kill Hawkeye, so he's in for a lot of stuff going on later this year in I think mid-November, if I'm not mistaken, on Disney Plus. Kind of intrigued to see where that series will go. Obviously, as he not only runs for his life and tries to defend himself from everybody out there that is really just kind of after him and whatnot. But also wanted to go ahead and point out that it's going to be a passing of the torch to Haley Steinfeld, as we talked about earlier about the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts being created as a series or upcoming movie. I think also as well we got to talk about how the Young Avengers are being built from the ground up as well.
Yeah, yeah, and that the Young Avengers is I mean, that'll be interesting to see how they do that, because if I remember correctly, like uh, their story is shaped around a very tragic event in the Marvel universe. So I'll be interested in how they bring that to life.
As am I, my friend, as am I. But we're looking forward to some great things coming up with the Hawkeye series. What are your thoughts out there on the Hawkeye series? Please share us your thoughts. Do you really like the vibe? As a little bit of dash of Home Alone plus a lot of dash of Die Hard, as both Josh and I and also Melinda Barkhouse said on our previous episode, the PC Multiverse. Please share us your thoughts on the Hawkeye series. Are you excited for it? Do you think this will Did you think this will be finally the type of thing that will get Hawkeye and elevate him as a character? Because I know there's always been mixed returns over the past decade, but we want to hear your thoughts on the Hawkeye series. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Well, coming up next, it is John Orlando from the PVD cast. He and I are going to share thoughts on the latest episode of The Dark Side of the Ring from Vice, and that is on the WWE's Plane Ride from Hell. We're going to talk about that infamous plane ride from Europe back to the United States, some of the things that went down, some of the fallout that's happened since, and really all the intrigue that went into it, and whether or not it was a good episode. We're going to talk about that coming up after the break. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're about to close out the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford, along with my good friend, Mr. Josh Peterson from Humanica Media. Please, also, if you can, go ahead and check out his awesome book today, Congratulations, You Suck. I didn't mention the intro. I forgot to, and I apologize because I've only been doing it for the past couple of years. Please go ahead and check out his great book, Congratulations, You Suck, today at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. Plus, also as well, we're the #1 tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook. If you can go ahead, check us out, Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. We had a great game earlier today. Mitch, Dia Mitch is at it again with running the great games on the weekend. Plus, we've got Destruction Force coming up on Monday. Melinda, Rob, they run great games. Victor runs a great game during the week as well. So please, when you get a chance, check us out, Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, where you'll see all the latest news and information from the world of pop culture as well. But my friend, there's still much more to talk about on today's program. Wanted to hear your thoughts real quick on Diablo 2 Resurrected as it comes back to life with all shiny new things added to it, all shiny new things recreated, touched up, cinematic trailers, blah, blah, blah. We've already seen the story now in the age of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, but really from the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 era, about all these remakes happening and whatnot. I mean, every seemingly classic game from the past is going to get remade at some point in time. Now is the time for Diablo 2 to come out as Diablo 2 Resurrected to try not only reach the same audience it did before that's still around playing games, but also a new audience as well. Do you think, from what you've seen or what you've heard, you think it's going to do some of that?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say with anything right now with Blizzard because of what's going on with their investigation and those allegations. But I know Diablo has always had a special place in people's hearts. I've never actually played Diablo. Like I have friends who have been big fans of it, and it seems to be something that people are excited about. But again, like with all these boycotts going on, it's hard to say like how well this is going to do.
I agree with you on that. Who knows what kind of interest there could be on it simply because of what's going on. Could be some review bombing going on there and really turn people off, or really some people not interested at all. Or the fact is, it could, because it's an older game, people may not be interested in it. But then again, a lot of people were interested last week when they talked about the remaking or the redoing of the Star Wars, as far as the Star Wars game that's coming out from the past. So they're talking about that, and I don't know, man. I'm just really intrigued by what I see. I mean, I don't want to get it at full price though. I think I'm going to wait until it goes on the cheap or it goes on sale. But I'm really thinking about it because it's something I really never got into as well with the Diablo series. But I'm interested in it. I'm interested with it, man. I'm just kind of worried of how much improvements did they make in the game. Was it all just the cinematic trailers? Because if it's all just on the fringes and not in the actual game itself, I'm not exactly going to be thrilled to go out and jump and get it.
Well, it's like on Xbox Live, right? Bethesda dropped those Fallout remasters, right? But you play them, and yeah, it's cool, and you're able to play something like that on a modern console. But if you look at it, like there's nothing really that's blowing your mind, right? There's nothing really that makes you think like, oh, hey, this is Fallout for the next generation. It still more or less looks the same, minus the addition of some more pixels and brighter colors and faster loading times. It's still the same game as it always was, unless it's something that's rebuilt from the ground up, so remade. I wouldn't expect too much from it.
Well, again, it's going to a situation where some of these remakes really work. I played Destroy All Humans last year. I really kind of liked that. It was a fun time, and I strongly recommend that. And now they're going to be they announced THQ Nordic that Destroy All Humans 2, which came out, I think, last decade. I think that's going to be remade. They announced that along with several other games. I'm not so. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go back into it another time. I really like my time with the original.
Yeah.
I know the sequel was not as well thought of, so I don't know about remaking that. But again, all these games seemingly get remade at some point in time. But I don't know. When it comes to something like Diablo 2 Resurrected, is it just some stuff done around the fringes, or is some stuff is there really just a built up from the ground up type deal, and something that we're supposedly is going to be talked about with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and that remake, where that's being supposedly rebuilt from the entire ground up.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that Diablo 2 Resurrected will be something that's I can enjoy, I can appreciate, and that's something that will hopefully be a good when it becomes a good value that I'm going to go ahead and get, and I'm going to appreciate and enjoy, because I kind of like those old dungeon crawlers that you
Oh
can go
yeah.
ahead around and just a little bit of just point and click. No, it's not the greatest looking game in the world, but I think I might have some fun with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like it again, yeah, it could be fun. I just hope that like it gets a fair I guess a fair judgment, knowing what's going on in the background.
One other game I want to talk about, and we're going to go ahead and leave off with this before we go ahead on a rant that I have on upcoming movies that are being made. Lord of the Rings: Rise to War is hitting mobile this week, and I don't know about the gameplay. I don't know anything about I think it's what are those mobile games, real time strategy. You point and click, or you just put it on your touchscreen. Blah 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 blah. We've seen that before, but according to the trailers, the trailers I've seen have no sign of gameplay anywhere. It's just the cinematic gameplay, cinematic trailers. And the latest one, the one that's shown now on IGN, is so funny because it basically just shows you a different angle of the, do you remember, obviously what you remember, but the original Lord of the Rings movie, Fellowship of the,
Of course.
Fellowship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it shows that, you remember the montage at the very beginning of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
exposition before the exposition.
Yeah, exactly. And when Kate Blanchett goes ahead and tells you blah 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 blah, this basically the video, the trailer for this game, this mobile game that they released, is just showing you that same exact thing from a different vantage point, just like if you were seeing it from different angles. So it really didn't do anything for me other than just saying, you know what, I just want to go see the movie again. But
right.
that again, it's a mobile game, but it really gets me going as far as thinking, okay, I understand there's a Gollum game coming out as far as for consoles sometime maybe next year at the earliest. I understand that Shadows of Mordor had great success, and Shadows of Mordor 2 did not have such great success. But I really think a hack and slash adventure game is setting in the Lord of the Rings. It's been done before, sometimes to success, sometimes to not. I really think it's about time we go back in the world with some characters once again. I'm not talking about Lord of the Rings Online. I know that's still out there and people playing, but I really love a full-fledged AAA adventure in the Lord of the Rings realm once again.
Yeah.
Not just Gollum's side.
No, I mean, I think that this is the perfect time to make something like that. And I always loved the old Xbox, PS2 era Lord of the Rings games. The Fellowship of the Ring was okay, but Two Towers and Return of the King were always pretty fun to play. And I guess like the best feature with those is
Two
that
Towers rocked.
Two Towers is amazing, but my favorite feature with those games is the fact that you and your friends could play together. You know, like it
Yep,
wasn't online, but you could sit on the couch and they could just like press A and join. So like
that's what I did.
if we were to do a massive game like this, okay, I don't know if I would want like I wouldn't want an MMO RPG. I would want like a Borderlands style game. Not the animations and all the jokes and all that,
Just four
but
player co-op.
yeah, but yeah, something where like your buddies can jump in and out as they please and bring all like their gear and progression along with them, and then get experience points as they're helping you with their quests that will carry over to their own, their own game once they save their character.
You gotta design games, man. What's up with that?
I know this is like this is a wish fulfillment game, and
Humanica Media Studio. There you go. Team Warner
seriously,
Brothers. Come
man,
on, man.
yeah, I know. Just
But I'll
gotta,
tell you what, my
yeah.
friend, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the game's probably going to be a big hit on mobile, but just the fact that it didn't showcase in its final trailer, in its launch trailer per se, any gameplay was kind of irritating to me. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it's a mobile game, so you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. It's
Yeah.
just that simple. So I just will say that I think it's time for a true adventure game, hack and slash, fun with your friends type deal, exactly like you're talking about in the world of Lord of the Rings once again. So I understand the Gollum game is going to be fun, it's going to look good, and you're Gollum, and all that. But I really just, hearing 2 hours of 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours of Andy Serkis is fine, but I really would love a Lord of the Rings adventure game once again.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, speaking of Andy Serkis, just a side note, Venom 2 is only going to be an hour and a half. Crazy.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Well, that's one way to cut your costs down.
I
There you go,
know, right?
Sony.
But yeah, anyways, I would be excited for a Lord of the Rings game to something that like really has meat and substance to it. It seems like they spend so much time making these MMOs and the mobile stuff. Like they need to focus their efforts like where people will actually play these games, because like I get over mobile games real quick. So I would love to have something I just sit on the couch with, like an Assassin's Creed style game that like will take has a lot of meat to it, you know?
Well, again, we saw this with the games from the 2 decades ago now, with
Hmm.
like you said, Two Towers, Fellowship of the Ring, and Return of the King. Why not recreate that?
Yeah.
Why not recreate those adventures? They're built in. They're based seemingly. If you saw the movies, it's handmade for creating a video game type scenario. It's something detailed. I understand that people played through them years ago, but don't remake those.
No.
Do something just that looks all new, plays brand new, and just it really could be something special. So
Yeah.
that's just our thoughts
No,
here.
I
So,
agree, man. I agree.
what are your thoughts out there on Lord of the Rings? Are you excited to play the new mobile game Rise to War, or would you like something more meatier out of your Lord of the Rings video games? Share us your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. My friend, it's been a great episode, but before we head on out, I have got a rant, my friend.
All
I've
right,
got a rant.
lay it on me.
Hold on, I got to get on my soapbox here. Getting up on my soapbox. This past week was I guess, a good time if you're a video game, I guess, enthusiast, because two video game movie adaptations are now seemingly in the works. The first that was mentioned was based off the old series Driver. And if people don't remember that, or people weren't aware of what Driver series was that it was one of the many, 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 many GTA clones of the first decade of the 2000s. And also they were trying to do it as well in the next decade. But there were many pretenders to the throne in the GTA land and the GTA landscape, in the GTA universe. And the Driver series by Atari, of all people, was one of them. In fact, I thought Driver 3, if you ever check out and type in Driver 3 in YouTube, Driver 3 trailer, they had one of the, I think, the best trailers of that era. It was set to, I think, Syntax Destiny song, and it was really good. Unfortunately, the game itself was not good. But be that as it may, they're going to make a movie based off that. So okay, whatever. They
Oh.
did Need for Speed, obviously whatever. It's going to have the relation to the Fast and Furious type deal, that type of scenario. Okay, whatever. What are you going to do about that? But the second one that came up was by Sony signing Anthony Mackie into development on a Twisted Metal because he's going to play the role of Sweet Tooth.
Oh, that's
And
weird.
yeah, and I'll tell you what, right now, it's just to me, it's something Twisted Metal game, all right, a Twisted Metal movie, all right, that's fine. Twisted Metal movie, it's what you can take it, leave it. I mean, we've seen destruction, neo apocalyptic type car smashing stuff like that before, and destruction and all that. That's fine, whatever. But what gets me is there's this great idea, and in fact, it's been tossed around in Hollywood because we've actually seen it on Henry Cavill's Instagram before, and we've talked about on the show that there's this great and novel video game series that people would know. People know out there would be an awesome space opera, a space epic like none other. Like very few video game adaptations for it. It screams a series that would just be great. You just put the money down on it. Netflix, you just throw this across the desk at Netflix, and there should be no reason why Netflix shouldn't say, "Let's do it," because it's been a hit series, it's been a much beloved series. It screams something that will cross over to a general audience, and that's the thing right behind me, and that's Mass Effect. And I know this is like our yearly. We need to go ahead and make another rant on Mass Effect movie once again, but I think I need to make another rant on a movie on a Mass Effect movie once again, my friend. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that needs to happen. I think what's pushing a lot of people away from, and Twisted Metal is such a weird thing to make a movie out of, but I wonder if what's pushing people away from Mass Effect is this idea that it would be expensive. It would be a very expensive and time-consuming endeavor, and we saw from Henry Cavill that maybe it's happening, maybe not, but it definitely is something I would be excited for. But I just wonder if the price tag is what's pushing these studios away from it.
Well, you saw him reading up on it, but that was several months ago. Was it almost a year ago now? It's been a while. It's been a long time since that news came out and that was leaked out, and everybody got to see and superimposed it, and focused in on it and saw that he was reading something that was encapsulating the Mass Effect series. And we were so jazzed at that time that it could be a possibility happening. But now it's several months later and nothing's happened as of yet. And I'm just kind of disappointed because the fact that if I'm a financier or if I'm Netflix and I'm willing to throw out the cash for something I think that will get a great return, this is something that could capture a lot of people's, imagination, and not just gamers. This is something that, if done right, could garner a huge, massive audience. Sorry about the mass thing there that I put in there.
No, I agree, man. I definitely think it could. Like, it could take fans of like Star Trek and Lost in Space and even like Game of Thrones and create this
Star Wars.
Star Wars. It could create this. It could be the next like big cult hit, and it just would have to be done right, And like, I don't think, as I've said before, I don't think it would work as a trilogy of movies. I think it would need to be something across a streaming network that would take maybe 3 or 4 seasons to fully come to life.
I mean, you could do it as a trilogy movie set, but I agree with you. I think if you started back before the events of Mass Effect, you went really into the First Contact War and man's, how did they find everything as far as the Protheans and all that? How did they find everything that's out there first? And you go into the First Contact War, and then you go into the books. Some of the books are really, really, really well done. I mean, the writer for the Mass Effect series early on also wrote some of the books, and they are really, really, really good. I highly, highly recommend at least two or three of them are really, really, really good. So, I mean, if you go off of that, you could base some of the series off of that. You could splinter off into FemShep. You could do some stuff with her as far as on her own episodes. And if you want to just go ahead and make the male Shep the star of it, you can you put the FemShep, the female shepherd, as her own character with her own series, and have her star there. And I don't know. It just sets itself for an entire universe of stuff, and it really is something that screams streaming. And
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, we're still seeing the effects of COVID on the that the whole movie making business. So maybe, give it a year or so, we'll see a bigger probability that a Mass Effect show could be created.
What are your thoughts out there on a Mass Effect movie or series? Is it something that you would love to see? Is it something you'd be interested in? We'd love to hear your thoughts. I know we go on this rant every 3 to 6 to 9 months to a year, but it's that time again, especially with the announcements of Twisted Metal and Driver. I mean, share us your thoughts on those movies as well, but we really want to hear your thoughts on if a Mass Effect series or Mass Effect trilogy movies could work. Let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, it's been a great episode as always. I cannot thank you enough for stopping by and running the show as well as you do. We cannot thank everyone enough for watching us. Please check out our tabletop RPG streams over the course of the week and all the stuff that we do hit the cosmos. Any last thoughts on the way out?
Uh, no, there was something that was in my head a second ago, and now, oh yeah, so Spyro the Dragon 4, I think it's called Wings of Fury, was supposed to be announced during the Summer Game Fest, and it never was, and it's supposed to be released in November, but nothing's been said about it yet. So, do you
Does this
think?
surprise you? Really?
No, it doesn't. But do you think that it's supposed to be Spyro 4? So everything that came out after 3 is just, side stories. But it's called Spyro 4, Wings of Fury. And do you think that we are going to see this game in light of people wanting more Crash Bandicoot and Sonic the Hedgehog?
I'm sure we'll see it. Whether or not it's going to be something that's a hit, it's very hard to tell because these cute or light platformers, you don't really know what the audience is for it. I mean, Ratchet and Clank is one of the highest rated games of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and Sony recently said that it sold a little over 1 million so far. But that's great and all. But when your PlayStation 5 base is what now over 10 million, I think, something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's just a little bit of there. And even though if it is the most popular PlayStation 5 game or it's out there, that's not saying a whole lot.
No.
And I know Psychonauts 2 has come out to great acclaim, but how well has that sold? Because there's a reason why Psychonauts 2 has come out decades after the first one.
Yeah.
Because even though it's been a cult hit, it's been, well, let's put it this way, a cult hit. So I don't know, man. I mean, these cuter platformer type deals, I don't know if there's still as large of an audience as there once was, like back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy them. Like, I would definitely play another Spyro the Dragon, but ever since they like added all those like cute fairy tale creatures in there, it hasn't really been the same as it was when I was a kid. Like the first Spyro. So I would still play it, and I would love to see it come out. But just the fact that they didn't that it's was slated for November and we still haven't heard anything about it makes me think that it'll probably be a while before we see anything like that, if it ever happens at all.
Well, we'll see what happens, my friend. But as always, it's been a great pleasure having you on the show as my fellow host, doing this for years and years and years as we work together. One more time, we'll be back next week on the Pop Culture Cosmos, but check out later this week when we talk Foundation on Apple Plus, and Melinda Barkhouse and I will reflect on what's going on with the Emmys. If you're watching this right now, we will go ahead and put up a link on the Pop Culture Cosmos Facebook page for all the winners for the Emmys, but we will talk the Emmy fallout and Foundation on Apple Plus coming up later this week on the PCC Multiverse. But for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day. Thanks for